So what we're looking at here is to make sense from text or other types of data that's not necessarily numbers. We can look at transcription of interviews, notes from participant observations, written words and thoughts found in public or in private documents, and images such as audiovisual materials. When we think about qualitative data analysis, we can think about it in a couple different ways. We can look at organizing information, looking at abstract information, integrating information from various sources, and synthesizing information as well. Basically, we're looking at what the researcher has seen or heard, observations. We look for themes or patterns by extracting meaning from the narratives or the different information, such as images or whatnot. The first principle of qualitative data is the inductive process. This is saying that patterns emerge from the data. We collect and study the data and gain insights after it's collected and studied. So this is the opposite of the deductive process that we use in quantitative studies, where patterns and relationships set forth before the study is implemented. So with quantitative, we already have an idea of what we're looking for, and we're trying to find data related to that. In qualitative data, we're getting to the data and letting the things come to us, so to speak. So let's take a quick look at the differences between quantitative and quantitative data analysis. So the first thing we're going to see is that we got different data sources. For qualitative, we're looking at a narrative, so documents or text or words, or visuals, pictures and whatnot. With quantitative, we're looking at numbers. The timing of data analysis. So within qualitative, it begins during the data collection. As we gather data, we start to interpret. With quantitative, we do the analysis at the end. Treatment of raw data. So we take the abstract concepts that emerge from the words and images and to help us explain or illustrate. So we're looking at, again, different types of data, different types of information. Then with quantitative, the numbers are manipulated often to test a hypothesis. So we're doing manipulation of the raw data so that we can move it around, or we leave out certain aspects of the raw data. Order of analysis. So with qualitative, we're looking at a circular or iterative, we're looking at an analysis that kind of goes in circles and comes back in loops and loops and loops. Think of it as an ongoing process. With quantitative, we're looking at a linear process. We get the data, we organize the data, we test the data, we make a hypothesis. With qualitative, that's more of a jumbled process, if you will. I don't know really how else to describe it. It's circular, and you go back and you take breaks and you go, insert and different things like that. Point of analysis. So this is really what's the big picture takeaway. With qualitative, we want to understand and paint a picture, really get the depth of the understanding. With quantitative, we're looking at really crunching numbers, understanding the data that comes out of it. The second principle is governing qualitative data analysis is the cyclical process, and we just mentioned that a little bit briefly in our previous slide. We have to understand the analysis moves back and forth between collecting and managing data and then identifying and verifying conclusions. So we can collect and manage data, make a conclusion, verify it, and then go back to collecting data. Or we can collect and manage data, make a conclusion, and then go back and collect more data to see how it works out. It's a process requiring continuous reflection about how the data is subdivided into categories so that we can look at themes and patterns and so forth. Again, it's an ongoing cyclical process. Let's take a look at data. So we have raw data, which is originally collected words or images. This is original source material. This is something you can collect or you can get from somebody, but it's the original content. Metadata is organized words or images of raw data. So this is when we take the raw data and we manipulate it in some way for whatever purpose, but we've looking at the second level of data. So this is a secondary source in some respect. One type of data for metadata is a condensed and expanded accounts. So a condensed account is initial phrases, single words, unconnected sentences that are recorded in the field or on site. An expanded account is details, things not initially written down and condensed in the condensed account that are added after viewing a video of observations made or transcripts of the taped interview. So we're looking at expanding on our initial information we got from the condensed account. Memos. Memos are notes written by a researcher suggesting explanations for the content of expanded accounts. So they kind of dovetail with that. We're going to build on our understanding from our raw data. And sometimes people call these conceptual epiphanies, things that we think about, and like aha moments or whatnot, and we'll add those to the information we already have. So let's talk about identifying category codes. These are labels for assigning meaning attached to a phrase or paragraph in your expanded account. It's a breakdown of sentences, paragraphs of text, or images into themes and categories. So really, I think the themes and categories is kind of the way to look at this, is you identify different themes that emerge in your data and try to attach those to different things that you have heard, you witnessed, or whatever images you're looking at.